People are running across the street. They're looking for any sort of shelter that they can get.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Israel later confirming a missile fired by Houthi rebels in Yemen was intercepted. The Iran-backed Houthis continuing attacks on Israel in support of Hamas, despite an agreement with the U.S. to stop attacking ships in the region. The White House says Israel signed off on a new ceasefire and hostage release proposal before the plan from U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff was submitted to Hamas, which says it's studying the proposal. The State Department declining to speculate on how many visas will be revoked from Chinese students after Secretary of State Rubio announced they would start aggressively revoking visas. A spokesperson says the U.S. won't tolerate exploitation of American universities by the Chinese Communist Party. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A plea deal reached with a man accused of killing a little girl. No rain showing up on radar right now. On Monument Circle, you got clouds and 72 degrees. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 3:02. In January 2023, Oakley Snow was kidnapped from her biological father and was later found dead in a dresser in Morgan County. The one-year-old's mother, Madison Marshall, will serve 25 years as part of her plea agreement. Now the man accused of actually killing the child, Roan Waters, has had the murder charge dropped and instead will face charges of neglect of a dependent resulting in death and 2 counts of neglect of a dependent, all felonies. That deal was reached Thursday. 3 separate fires at Greenwood Apartments this morning, according to Assistant Fire Chief Matthew Fillenwarth with Greenwood Police.
But it does appear initially that these were intentionally set.
He says the fires happened at Westminster, Polo Run, and Auburn Place Apartments. The first fire was just after 8 o'clock at Westminster, followed by Polo Run at 8:25 and Auburn Place at 8:33. Salmonella has been linked back to veggie trays and salads sold at Kroger in Indiana and 8 other states, and those salads and veggies have been voluntarily recalled. They are sold in clear plastic grab-and-go trays and bowls from May 8th to 21st and under the label Supreme Produce. The Pacers-Knicks playoff battle is heating up on the court and getting ugly at bars and in the streets. Ryan Hedrick reports.
That is the sound of a bunch of supposed Knicks fans confronting one Pacers fan with the bucket hat. It happened a couple of days ago in Indianapolis, and now police are concerned and people are getting rowdy outside of bars, namely after games when the Pacers win.
IMPD is going to be out. Officers will be all around. If you see something, we ask that you say something.
That's IMPD Officer Tommy Thompson. He says if you see somebody with a gun or violence in general, call the police. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You've got traffic and weather coming up.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us, 317-563-0868, or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace through strict.
Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
Thanks, Chris. Bayonne is shut down both directions between Madison and Derbyshire because of a crash. A vehicle was struck by a train. Southbound Collector is heavy from the north split right down to the south split. 465 eastbound tight Keystone to 69. 465 westbound slows up between Meridian and Michigan. 65 northbound tight Edgewood to 465. This report brought to you by Speedway. Stop at Speedway and grab any size Big Gulp for just 89 cents with Speedy Rewards. Summer is calling, valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies throughout the day today. We will look for high temperatures to climb into the lower 70s. More clouds return tonight with some showers, even a few rumbles of thunder overnight with lows in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Yeah, Hammer, it's hard to believe 5 years ago today, the Indianapolis riots began. 2 nights of hell, ugliness, violence, murder. Many people didn't think that it was possible in Indy. I certainly said on the air, as the riots in other cities were taking place, I'm talking about the George Floyd riots, I said Indy is not a riot town, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah, and I'll never forget leaving the studio that night. Our show wrapped up at 7, stayed on till 7 because we had heard there might be some action. By the time we got out of here, the timeline was at 7:11 p.m. That's the report of the first broken window in the city of Indianapolis. And then after that, it was hell, fire, and brimstone, man.
I remember staying up and watching Wish TV's coverage. I mean, they went till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It was drink after drink after drink watching our city burn. And it was such a just a eerie, dystopian time in this city, because not only did you have people that were allowed to gather and march and destroy, ultimately, businesses and riot, but it was COVID.
Right.
Where I thought that kind of thing, gathering in large masses, was frowned upon. I mean, we were right in the heat, the heart of COVID in 2020. And that's what I remember most, is just the ugliness, the violence.
And it didn't have to be that way. That's what was frustrating.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be that way. You look at the colossal failure of the city and the state, for that matter, for what happened here. Yes, we have no idea where Joe Hogsett was the first night of the riots. I have had people tell me he was in a rehab facility in Richmond, Indiana. Joe will never admit that, but he was not here that Friday. It was the deputy mayor calling the shots. All right, fine. Friday happens. Count Friday as I didn't think Indianapolis was capable of this.
Got out of hand very quickly.
Right.
But
Saturday, everybody knew it was coming back.
Yeah.
And this is where Governor Holcomb completely dropped the ball. He had the ability to make the city safe with the National Guard. And honestly, I think had the IMPD had full authority to be tough with some of these thugs, you wouldn't have had the deaths, the fire, and the destruction you would have had. There would have been some more fights, don't get me wrong. People were angry at the police after the death of George Floyd. I get it. But it seems like you had the IMPD trying to fight a fight with one hand behind their back here because of city leaders.
Well, look, I really don't care about rioters' anger.
Correct.
To be honest, I don't care about your anger. I don't care about your cause. If you are violent, if you're, spraying graffiti, if you're attacking police, if you're attacking civilians, if you are vandalizing and smashing windows, screw your cause.
And the first time this city saw their mayor, because some half-assed tweet was sent out in the wee early morning hours of Saturday after the destruction of Friday night, some Hogsett lackey staffer put some tweet out. The first time we saw old Diamond Joe, Boss Hogsett, is when he came out on Saturday and crapped all over the police.
Sorry for the way the police were behaving during the riots.
And again, Joe Hogsett, we know where you were at night number 1. It's not a secret anymore. Even your Democrat pals on the city county council have told me they know. And to his credit, Phil Sanchez, the news anchor at our news partners at Wish TV, when Joe Hogsett was running for re-election to be the mayor, he asked him flat out, where were you?
Do you agree with the report findings that there was a lack of planning, coordination, and communication? And where were you on the night of the riots?
Well, first of all, the question about the report, I embraced it because I put the committee together. Deborah Daniels and former Justice Myra Selby and Sean Huddleston, the president of Martin University, did a very thorough job. My office fully participated. And in answer to your second question, Phil, I was working from my home. I was in constant contact with my representatives, with IMPD. After things started to dissipate that evening, I got about 2 or 3 hours of rest and got up at 4 o'clock the next day, worked the rest of the weekend, meeting with organizers of the protests, and ultimately issued the order to have the protests ended. And,
okay, you can stop it there. After 2 people had been murdered during the riots here, one gentleman, Chris Beatty, who I had known from doing promotion and marketing events, was trying to help a woman who was being assaulted in the streets, and he ended up losing his life because of the lack of leadership in the city at that time. So pump the brakes there, Boss Hogsett. You don't get to do a victory lap when we know where you were at on a Friday.
I'm going to make this perfectly clear. We're not blaming anything in terms of the police and the law enforcement at all in any way, shape, or form. Leadership, different story.
Totally. And Joe, the reason, I mean, it's so laughable. The reason you didn't get the promotion you thought you would get from Joe Biden, the reason that it went to Atlanta's mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, I'm sure there's a top 10 list of reasons why, but listen to the way that she handled her people during the riots.
So what I see happening on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta. This is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. This is chaos. A protest has purpose. When Dr. King was assassinated, we didn't do this to our city. So if you love this city that has had a legacy of black mayors and black police chiefs, go home. This is not the legacy of civil rights in America. This is chaos, and we're buying into it. Go home.
So you're saying that in terms of promotion, the mayor, Hogsett, you think wanted a position in Biden's cabinet.
Correct.
And that went to the...
that went to Keisha Lance Bottoms of Atlanta.
Office of Public Engagement, I believe, is her title.
You might not like her politics per se, but that message to rioters was strong.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot different than Joe Hogsett blaming the police for places like Windsor Jewelry that were just left to be looted and burned. And I remember when we came back that Monday, Nige, we had the owner of Windsor Jewelry. It's no longer here in the circle.
Right.
They closed up shop. Greg Byers joined us.
There was some Instagram live posts going on, and in there I could see these people going in and out of my front. They broke all the glass out, and they probably entered that way. And then they even broke the glass in the door. And then when they got in, they unlocked the door, and now they were using the door to come and go for hours.
Who do you think let you down, Greg? Was it IMPD? Was it Mayor Hogsett? I mean, you have to feel like somebody at this point completely let you down.
Here's the thing. Friday night, we were caught off guard. And I think things could have been handled differently. The police did everything they could. And I don't want to point fingers, but it's my understanding that they were told to hold back and just and let things go when they felt they had control of it. And that order, from what people are telling me, came from administration. They referred to it as they were called from the 25th floor, whatever that means, if that's the mayor's office or whatever it is, and told to back off. So, if that's what happened, then, I think it is the city's fault.
And what floors me, Nige, is that all of these businesses that either had bricks thrown through their window, Molotov cocktails looted out, the city chamber still endorsed Joe Hogsett in his next election after he left them there to fend for themselves.
Dummies.
That's the state of this city right now. A dude who was nowhere to be found when hell was breaking loose, people were being murdered, fires were being set, gets reelected because he can't get a promotion in Biden's administration. Let that sink in. And then the city chamber endorses this guy that left these businesses to rot and be looted out. And again, go back to that very first show that we had, Nigel, when we came back on the air on Monday after the worst two-day stretch in the history of this city. This is my raw reaction, okay? This was the way that I felt at that time in 2020. There are a lot of good people out there. There are a ton of good people out there. There are a lot more good people than bad people. And at this point, you're going to have to rely on yourselves because you're not going to get any help from your local leadership. And I've learned that this weekend. Now, I've been tough on Mayor Hogsett, but this goes on to that wishy-washy ass Governor Holcomb, too. Put your big boy pants on and act like a damn governor. Get control. You are in charge of the state of Indiana. Do something. You can't just sit around and hunker down, hunker down. Boy, you're real Mr. Billy Badass when somebody wants to open up a barber shop. When somebody wants to protest in front of your lawn, you call it a petri dish. But you didn't do a damn thing over this weekend. So it's Republicans and Democrats. So the lesson here, and I hate that it's the lesson, don't rely on anybody else. Take care of you. And I don't want to hear anybody ever again talk about, well, why does one person need an AK-47? Why does one person need an AR-15? Because sometimes the mayor will tell the police officers to stand down, and it's you against an angry mob. That's the way that I felt 5 years ago after 2 nights of rioting here in the city of Indianapolis. 5 years ago, anniversary today. Matt Baer.
Hey, Banta is still
I'm sorry,
shut
Alan
down.
Green. Alan Green is filling in. I'm sorry.
Hey, in Homecroft, Banta is still reported shut down because of a crash between a vehicle and a train. This is between Homestead Drive and Derbyshire. On the southbound collector, a big backup from the north to the south split. 465 eastbound, heavy Keystone to 69, 465 westbound, tight Meridian to Michigan, and 65 southbound from Keystone to 465 is slow as well. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates and WIBC traffic.
You know, it's personal for me too. I was really jaded because my family lives downtown. My dad has a business property and also lives on top of that business property. Every window was smashed out. I had called him that morning. I go, Dad, and we had just learned that his dad, my grandpa, had passed away. He had been in a hospital, had taken a fall the week before, and passed away. So he was waking up to not only see his business property destroyed, but the fact that his dad passed away. And he had to delay coming to give comfort to my grandma because he had to wait for some people to come help board up the windows. So it's definitely a personal thing for a lot of people in this town.
And we're going to speak with the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Rick Snyder, coming up here in just about 15 minutes at 3:35. And then the chief of police, the current chief of police, Chris Bailey, who was on the scene that night 5 years ago, will join us a little bit later on. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Your Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent is here to help guide you through the process, so you don't have to go it alone. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's insurance together.
American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard. Here's Hammer with one of those local independent American Standard dealers right here in Central Indy.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling. They are one of your American Standard dealers for Johnson and Morgan County. Owner Richard Stevenson, he's been in the game 30 plus years. He's got the experience. He loves doing what he does, loves working with people. A married veteran, 3 beautiful daughters. Richard and his staff will treat you like their own. Fair, honest service, and that's why referrals are how they've made most of their appointments. Word of mouth, satisfied customers. So reach out to Stevenson Heating and Cooling today. 317-557-8532. That's 317-557-8532. Stevenson Heating and Cooling, an American Standard Heating and Air independent dealer. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Got plans this weekend? Why not head to Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil, Indiana? Honeysuckle Hill Bistro is located inside our family's lakeside home. The menu changes weekly, and whether it's chicken to wine, we focus on serving Indiana-sourced items. One thing that's always on the menu is our version of the Hoosier breaded tenderloin sandwich. Can't decide what to order? You can order the Bites plate, where you get a sampling of everything that's on the week's menu. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro serves dinner Fridays and Saturdays 5 to 8 and Sunday brunch buffet from 11 to 2.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $514 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer.
Turn down for what?
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Game 5, Pacers versus Knicks. Eastern Conference Finals tonight, 8 o'clock. Pacers in New York. How we feeling, man? What's the feeling?
It's going to be tough tonight because the Knicks are desperate now. It's win or go home for the Knicks. So don't be surprised tonight if they start doing some hard fouls, trying to make it a physical, slow-down game like 1990s NBA ball.
Okay.
Like I bet when Halliburton goes in the lane tonight or McConnell gets in the lane.
No easy buckets.
No easy buckets because they're trying to slow the pace down because right now the Pacers are running those old dudes off the court. But
dude, I almost bet last game. There's a bet you can make each team to score 65 or more points in each half. So the Pacers and the Knicks would each had to score 65 or more in each half. Pacers scored like 67, I think, in the first half, and I think the Knicks scored 64, so they barely made it. But what my point is, that it's like plus 50,000.
Right.
For that to happen. And I almost bet it. I almost did, even though I would have lost. But it does seem like they've been scoring a lot of points, but you're saying it's going to be slower.
At least if the Knicks want to survive, they're going to have to find a way to slow the pace down. So look for some hard fouls tonight and maybe the double team Halliburton a little bit more. We'll see what happens. If you're looking for some betting options, now again, the game starts at 8 o'clock tonight. The free podcast, Degenerates Next Door, anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find it at WIBC.com.
Is it out?
It is out. Nice. It is live. We got player prop bets. We got over-unders tonight. Professional handicappers and myself all breaking it down for you. It's free. Check it out, Degenerates Next Door. And it's going to be interesting to see if, and I hope it's not the case, because I would love to wrap these dudes up in New York, but if it comes back to Indy, let's say the Knicks win tonight, Game 6 would be here Saturday night. And, man, if you're the Pacers, you absolutely got to have that one.
Yeah.
Will Ben Stiller be in attendance? Because he got his feelings hurt from Pat McAfee, who was on the microphone the other night. We played this audio yesterday, but Pat McAfee, before the fourth quarter, firing up the Pacer fans. Take a listen.
Indianapolis, Indiana. We got some big wigs from the big city in the building. Spike Lee is here.
Boo.
Ben Stiller is here. Timothy Chalamet is here.
Nigel, shut up.
Let's send these sons of bitches back to New York with their ears ringing. Let's turn this oh!
Well, Ben Stiller got his feelings hurt, Nige.
Those were weird comments.
He's very cartoonish.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's what it was.
Cartoonish.
I'm not sure that he exactly knew who Pat McAfee was. Either way, though, I think here's what I will say about Ben Stiller's reaction. Yeah, it's kind of cartoonish. I know he's involved with the WWE. I know Timothy Chalamet knows him from Game Day, but I didn't really know who he was. But, it was WWE, but it was cartoonish.
Then you're not a sports fan. You don't deserve to sit courtside if you don't know who Pat McAfee is. I mean, he's everywhere. I mean, he's got a popular show that's national. He is on WWE, College Game Day. If you don't know who Pat McAfee is, you don't deserve to sit courtside. Like, if I were to go to New York and they had Spike Lee get up, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not really sure who that is. Like, come on. Like, you have to know who it is.
And then he was questioning something about, do people think this is Hicks versus Knicks still? Or something to that effect? I think it's fun to reminisce. I don't know if that's what we're calling it anymore, is it?
No, I think we're kind of past that.
Yeah, that's something from the mid-'90s.
And as our pal Eddie White has even pointed out, even back in the 90s, there were more dudes from New York City on the Pacers team than there were on the Knicks. Mark Jackson, New York City, went to St. John's.
That's right.
Chris Mullin, New York City, went to St. John's. Donnie Walsh, for the love of God, New York City. Meanwhile, the Knicks at that time, like Charles Oakley and John Starks, are from like flyover country. So it was kind of taken out of proportion, but I love that Ben Stiller got his little feelings hurt.
Wah.
Nothing would bring me more joy than watching the Pacers eliminate them in the Garden tonight. But, man, it's going to be a tough one. Let's get it going, though, man. 8 p.m. tip-off, and if you want some bets, check out the Degenerates Next Door podcast.
The month of May is here, so start your search engines and go to IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim your money today. You have cash waiting for you at IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Right now, the Attorney General's office is reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every single week. This isn't a boat or a car or contents of a storage locker. This is your money, your cash that's actually waiting for you. It could have been a deposit that you forgot you were supposed to get back, or a dividend from a stock. It could have been an insurance claim. There are a whole series of reasons why you have money waiting for you. Well, the Attorney General has those dollars, and you can search it up fast, easy, and free at indianaunclaimed.gov. Victory Lane is just one claim away at indianaunclaimed.gov. Search for yourself, your family, and your business this May. Text my name, Tony, to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov. indianaunclaimed.gov. Now go get your cash.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct, and May is officially the kickoff to home improvement season. And right now, during their home improvement season sale, you'll get an incredible 50% off your windows. Yes, half off. You heard right. You can upgrade your home with beautiful, energy-efficient windows for half the cost. But it gets even better. For a limited time, you'll get no interest and no payments for 12 months. That's a whole year to enjoy your new windows before you pay a single cent. And here's the cherry on top. You'll receive a free entry door with your window purchase. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the information and schedule your free in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Universal Windows Direct's home improvement season sale. Half off your windows, no interest, no payments for 12 months. 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A not-so-free Liberation Day. Plenty of clouds around, but no rain showing up right now on radar. It's 72 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending. A court blocked many of President Trump's tariffs on China, saying that the president exceeded his authority. Fox's Peter Ducey has more from D.C.
Another federal judge here in Washington, D.C. blocked some of the executive orders related to tariffs and China that President Trump signed around Liberation Day. And so now those are on hold, too. So if you're keeping score at home, basically everything that they've been trying to do here has been determined by various federal judges throughout the country to be illegal in some way. And so they are really making the White House counsel's office earn their paychecks the last couple of weeks. We hope to hear what is next for these tariffs that are now the centerpiece of President Trump's economic agenda, if the tariffs might not be legal and if they wind up going away.
While some courts have been trying to stop the deportations, one sheriff is asking for even more help.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said there's a problem with ICE detainment in Florida.
When we have more illegal aliens that we bring to them than they can handle, they're turned back into the street.
Sheriff Judd said local jails can't hold illegal migrants long-term without additional local charges. He told Fox Digital more places to hold them up to their immigration hearing day can force them to make a choice.
They're a lot quicker to waive their due process and leave than sit in lockup for months at a time, or maybe years at a time, waiting to get to court.
Sheriff Judd said the changes can be made by executive order, and he'd be willing to help the president write it. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Several fires set at Greenwood apartment complexes this morning, starting just after 8. Assistant Chief Matthew Fillenworth with the Greenwood Police Department says the fires happened at Westminster, Polo Run, and Auburn Place apartments. If you know anything about it, you are asked to call police. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
Thanks, Chris. Banda still reported shut down between Homestead Drive and Derbyshire because of a crash between a vehicle and a train. Southbound Collector jams up from the north to the south split. 465 southbound slows from 70 to Washington. Eastbound it's heavy from Keystone to 69. 465 westbound tight from Meridian to Michigan. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go, Drexel Interiors, for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 in River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies throughout the day today. We will look for high temperatures to climb into the lower 70s. More clouds return tonight with some showers, even a few rumbles of thunder overnight with lows in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, I'm Nigel. That's Hammer over there with a very special guest on the hotline.
Rick Snyder is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 86 here in Indy. Rick, we'll talk about the 5-year anniversary of the riots here in just a moment, but you guys had a press conference earlier, and this was in regards to the horrific, just awful death of this beautiful, young little girl. And when you hear the information in this story, it should not have happened. Walk me through today.
Yeah, we held a press conference, and I really encourage you guys to get your hands on the full, unedited, full sequence of events that we outlined. We'll be posting that later, and I'll be sharing it on Twitter as well, at Rick, FOP 86. Have people check that out and make sure they see the whole thing. But you have a little 5-year-old girl that, by all accounts and public media reports, had a history of abuse and allegations of abuse and injuries over multiple years, culminating just last week in her tragic murder and death here in Indianapolis. And when you read the details of that final probable cause that's been shared by the media, it's alleged that the killer in this, the alleged killer, is her father. And it goes on to outline that during some point in time, he actually live streamed on FaceTime to his girlfriend his abuse of the child. And he was swinging her around by a noose around her neck and also slung her body over his shoulder. I said today, like a bag of trash that you're taking out. It's horrific. It's disgusting. And she was then subsequently found deceased. And what's troubled us as police professionals is how little anybody has stepped forward to advocate on behalf of this child, even after her death. We saw the Marion County prosecutor once again come running in. I think you said it earlier, like Billy Badass, to suddenly file all these charges to hammer this guy. But what we found out is that the prosecutor and the courts had multiple opportunities over the past several years with invasion of privacy, violation of protective orders. There was even a criminal charge of rape and stalking that the prosecutor dismissed as part of a sweetheart plea deal that resulted in the suspect getting time served and really no jail time and being cycled right back out. It's a horrific set of events. We outlined that, and today we called for the governor to take immediate action as it relates to this, and we're also calling on the feds, the federal U.S. attorney, and really even the Department of Justice to review this, because, guys, somebody has got to get a handle on what's going on in Marion County. There is not equal protection under the law, especially for the most defenseless and innocent amongst us. And tragically, this case proves it.
So what needs to happen? I mean, you kind of outlined it there, but what needs to happen next? What do you want to happen after an investigation? Does somebody need to be fired? Does somebody, like, who's going to be held accountable for this?
Well, guys, I think it raises this question. How do you hold a prosecutor and especially judges accountable? We've seen time and time again, and you guys have consistently talked with me about it, but it's almost like they're untouchable. And when you look at these judges, they act as though they're above reproof, and no one should be able to question them and their decisions that they make, and nothing could be further from the truth. And time again, we are showing demonstrated examples of where by them failing to do their job and hold criminal offenders accountable, people are dying. Yet it's important to note, judges and this prosecutor, every prosecutor in the state of Indiana, has what's called absolute immunity. That means that you cannot criminally charge them for anything they've done in the line of their responsibilities. And as a result of that, these families are left without really any recourse for the decisions that they are making. So that's why we have said, listen, police departments have had to operate under federal oversight. They call them consent decrees. They send in teams to review and investigate and monitor them. Why can't the feds do that with our courts and with our prosecutor? We want to see if that's a possibility. And the U.S. attorney here can seek federal charges related to the transmission of this live crime action over FaceTime and the phones. And we're being told that by doing that, they could actually seek a life term or even the death penalty.
And Rick, the thing is like this guy had multiple previous infractions, as you mentioned, should not have been anywhere near this baby. But for whatever reason, the prosecutor's office, not just Ryan Mears, he's kind of the face of this thing, but his entire office chose to just allow this guy to keep being around the family, being around the child, and ultimately this was the result.
Well, guys, on May the 12th, just May the 12th, the prosecutor gave this guy a sweetheart plea deal on a violation of a protective order, and the judge involved gave him time served, released him, and days later, this child is dead. I mean, it's without a doubt a fair place to be able to ask questions. And, you know, many people are asking, why did the prosecutor, he was so quick to move on seeking life without parole now all of a sudden, why wouldn't he take the step of seeking the death penalty at the state level? It applies, but it really begs the question if he even supports the death penalty or not. And instead, he's doing this. He's flagging as though he's really doing something. But again, it distracts from the fact that there were multiple opportunities over a series of events leading up to this. And what we have said is somebody has got to stand up and speak for this child, little Zara, who's now gone on away from us. But, you know, I asked today, where are all these victim advocates? Where are all these taxpayer-funded and granted domestic violence advocates and child advocates? Where have you seen them? And I pointed out today, we saw a lot of politicians over the weekend standing up at the Indy 500 and standing up at the Pacers game. When are we going to see them stand up for children such as Zara and all those other innocent victims that continue to lose their lives as a result of this flawed system?
Rick, last thing on this before we move on to the unfortunate anniversary that we have today. The real reality is that as bad as these things are, and we talk about it a lot, you're a guest on our program a lot, these people keep getting re-elected in Marion County.
Well, I said today, I pointed out because the media was asking, well, kind of throwing up their hands, what else can we do? Well, we can't give up. We can't give up on these children. We can't give up on victims. We can't give up on law and order. But Indiana is one of the few states that has no codified legal manner to recall elected officials. Think about that. We even tried this last legislative session. Just give us a recall law for judges and prosecutors only to get us started at least. And we still couldn't get that done. Something has to give, guys. And I think the pressure has to be placed on. It's not going to happen in Indianapolis. It's got to be placed on Governor Mike Braun. It's got to be placed on the Indiana legislature. And quite frankly, it's got to be placed on the Indiana State Supreme Court, who continues to not do anything in response to all these calls for help.
We're chatting with Rick Snyder. He's the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 86. Rick, this is the 5-year anniversary of the riots in Indianapolis. 2 people murdered, multiple people shot, many police officers shot at, stores were looted, there was arson. It was hell on earth for 2 days. And we're 5 years removed, and we still don't have a lot of the information. Where was Joe Hogsett on night 1? Who was calling the shots? Did the police have an order to stand down? I'm just curious as to your perspective 5 years later.
Well, our officers are still reeling from it. We still have officers that are suffering trauma from these incidents and what occurred. And I think the big thing that was identified, and now 5 years later is starting to come to light, is what our officers were saying those nights. This is a concerted, coordinated effort, not just in Indianapolis, but across our nation. And who is behind it and organizing it? Our officers talked about busloads of people leaving the city who were paid protesters going back to Asheville, North Carolina. Our officers talked about bricks that were suddenly delivered into downtown Indianapolis by unknown sources that were later used to loot and vandalize the downtown Indy area. And then our officers also stood and watched as the same prosecutor came out and said, immediately, I am going to dismiss criminal charges against those that have been arrested for trespass, criminal trespass during the riots. So what we said is we got to get to the bottom of it. Now, we had the mayor who initiated a review. You remember that? He had some cronies that did a report for him. And what was interesting is that when that report was published, our officers came forward to us at the FOP and said, hey, wait a minute. I can tell you that they're referring to me and my interview in what they're saying, but here's the problem, Rick. It's the complete opposite of what I said. That's what they put in the report. And we had anonymous officers that stepped forward and blew the whistle on that. And what we found out was, we said, this is easy. There's an easy way to clear this up. Play the tapes. You know how we like body cams on officers and want to see what they're saying happen? We said the same thing for this investigative group. Play the tapes from the interviews that you did. And guess what we found out, guys? They didn't record a thing. And so all we had to rely upon was what this crony group was including in their report. And now we're seeing across the nation that this was way bigger than any localized event or any localized group. And we're still hopeful that with the new administration in Washington, D.C., that they haven't forgotten about it. I'm confident that they will continue to review it and hopefully dig into it a little further as well.
Rick, I'm stunned. I did not know that information was out there in terms of what the crony investigators put out in the report, and the I guess you're saying the complete opposite of what your officers told them. I mean, is that
absolutely, is
that new information, or has that been out there for a while?
I encourage you to Google it. Fox 59 actually did an expose on it.
Okay.
And then when they took it back to the city, guess what they said, guys? No comment.
Of course.
No denial, no anything, no comment.
No transparency either.
I'm stunned. I'm just stunned.
Rick, we could talk for hours about this and the things that took place, but I know you got to run. If somebody's listening right now and they want to review the horrific details of this rotten SOB and what he did to this beautiful 5-year-old girl, I know it's not a fun read, but I think it's important. Where can they go?
Well, I have a video that's being produced right now where we'll post the entirety of our press conference, inclusive of a detailed timeline. Again, guys, as identified by the media, and I'll publish that on my Twitter handle, and folks can go right to that YouTube page and watch it still yet today. So that'll be at Rick FOP86, and if you can help share that, that'll make sure that everybody at least has all the information.
Absolutely. Rick Snyder, FOP President, Lodge 86. Rick, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Be safe and tell your officers to do the same.
Thanks, guys. Make sure everybody just hugs their kids a little extra tonight.
You got it. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a DSNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Let's talk education. Is your child's school providing them with the knowledge and values they'll need in life? Do you worry about what they may be taught in the hallways and even in the classroom? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? What about things other than just academics? Is your child's school supportive of your family's beliefs? Your child is not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. You could get a tuition voucher worth approximately $6,000 to attend a private school. Over 75,000 Indiana kids already have. Many kids excel with the high standards, small class sizes, and more individual attention provided by private schools. Don't settle for something that doesn't feel right. You don't have to choose between your values and their education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
At Price Point Comfort, we're proud to serve our local community. We're not just your service provider, but we're your neighbors.
For heating and cooling help, go to PricePointComfort.com. Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Think of it as WIBC on 2x speed. Big opinions, great moments, and just enough chaos. The WIBC Mashup Podcast brings it all together in one fast, fun listen. New episode each weekday. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Alan Green is filling in for Matt Baer.
Thanks, Hammer. 465 eastbound is pretty solid from Keystone to just before Allisonville. Crash has the left lane blocked there. Southbound Collector backs up from the north to the south split. 70 eastbound slows now from Harding to the south split. The 465 southbound from 70 to Washington. Look for brake lights there as well. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
It's 71 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. If you would like to respond to anything that we have talked about so far, it's been kind of a news-heavy hour here. It's the 5-year anniversary of the riots. This story about this 5-year-old beautiful little girl, and it is
my stomach churn.
Disgusting. Rick Snyder, the FOP president, if you'd like to weigh in on that conversation, the YouTube chat is open. Look for WIBC on YouTube. We got cameras. We got a chat. Check it out.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Training for a new job after 55 can be challenging. But through the Senior Community Service Employment Program, or CSEP, unemployed workers 55 and over can receive on-the-job training in preparation for a new role. You even get paid for your training time. To see if you qualify, call 765-830-WORK. That's 765-830-WORK. Then, armed with a new set of skills, get out there and start your second act.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Comprehensive cancer care is not just about treating cancer. It's caring for the person behind the diagnosis. It's our team by your side to listen, connect, and encourage, and to celebrate every milestone together. Because at Franciscan Health, your journey is our journey. Your victory is our victory. Your hope and trust in us to provide extraordinary cancer care with the latest advancements, plus a little extra TLC, is our mission. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/cancercare.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
A tariff reversal. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A federal appeals court just granting the Trump administration a temporary stay of last night's ruling by a federal trade court, which blocked many tariffs, ruling the president exceeded his authority by using the Emergency Economic Powers Act for reciprocal and universal tariffs on many countries. Trump trade advisor Peter Navarro just telling Fox Business
$18 trillion of American wealth so far transferred into foreign hands, and millions of jobs lost, hundreds of thousands of factories gone. That's the emergency, and the American people understand this. Okay. Main Street understands this.
The appeals court ruling a short time ago allows the tariffs to remain in place while the legal fight continues. The White House had already said trade negotiations would continue and calls on the U.S. Supreme Court to stop what it calls judicial activism against the Trump agenda. Hamas says it is studying a proposed ceasefire in Gaza.
The U.S. negotiating team, led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, has presented Hamas with a 60-day ceasefire offer that has the backing of Israeli leaders. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt would not detail the plan, but reports suggest Hamas would release 10 living hostages and the remains of others during the 60-day pause. Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and pull back forces to positions before the last ceasefire ended in March.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. President Trump meets with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. The Fed says they discussed the economy, but not Powell's outlook for interest rates, and that the Fed chair told the president the central bank will make decisions based solely on careful, objective, and non-political analysis. President Trump has publicly criticized Powell and pushed for interest rate cuts. Stocks finish higher, but off session highs. The Dow up 42 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A visit to Indiana's VA hospitals. No showers right now on radar, and no showers expected. Right now it's 72 on Monument Circle. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 4:02. VA Secretary Doug Collins visited the Veterans Administration Health Center in Evansville Wednesday, the first time a secretary has done that. He says this administration is improving the wait times for veterans to get care.
We've attacked that head on. And then just the little over 100 days that I've been in the seat, we had 260,000 in our backlog for disabilities. We've now lowered that. Last week we were able to tell everybody we're under 200,000.
Thursday, Collins visited the Roudebush VA Hospital in Indianapolis. The visits are part of a tour across the country, which Collins says he believes will help improve services for veterans. A lawsuit filed against Roblox by an Indiana family. The lawsuit, filed in Wabash County, says the Roblox platform may claim to be safe and family-friendly, but that it doesn't do enough to protect kids from predators. The family behind it says a 9-year-old girl was groomed on Roblox, and the predator first drove to her house where he assaulted the child and recorded it, then returned months later, and this time took her to Georgia, where she was assaulted several times. A mother says she stepped in to save her daughter from being sexually assaulted. Jarrett Lewis has that story.
That mother at a hotel on the west side of Indianapolis with her 12-year-old daughter and a man she says she knew in Bruce Pierce. According to court documents, the mother left the hotel room on May 24th to go to her car, leaving the other two inside. When she came back, she said she saw Pierce on top of her daughter trying to take her clothes off. That's when the woman shot Pierce multiple times. He was taken to a hospital. A warrant has now been issued for his arrest. Pierce faces multiple felony charges, including attempted rape. Pierce was previously convicted of child molestation in 2016 and spent 8 years in prison for it.
Greenwood police say they're working with state investigators after 3 separate fires happened within 30 minutes of each other Thursday morning.
It's around 8:30. We responded to the Westminster apartment complex off of 31 and County Line on a fire. The fire crews were there just south of there in the Polo Run apartment complex. Report of another fire.
Assistant Police Chief Matthew Fillenwart says no one was hurt. He believes something was used to help start the fires, though. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Prepare for the summer heat with energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. Window Nation windows are built to keep your house cool during the hot summer days, and Window Nation has some of the best energy-efficient windows on the market. Their windows frequently outperform and outlast some of the more expensive guys. Window Nation windows are assembled right here in America. Check out this deal right now. When you buy 4 windows, you'll get 4 for free. For 2 years, you won't have to worry about a down payment, interest, or monthly payments. That's right, you don't pay anything until 2027. And if that's not enough, get a free entry door when you buy a house of windows. But you have to mention Hammer and Nigel sent you. You don't get the deal without saying Hammer and Nigel sent you. 866-90-NATION. Schedule a fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation or visit windownation.com.
Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
465 eastbound traffic is heavy from Keystone to 69. Before Allisonville, a crash has a left lane blocked. Southbound Collector jams up from the north to the south split. 70 eastbound is heavy now from Harding into the south split. 465 westbound tight from Meridian to Michigan. 65 northbound hits the brakes from Southport up to 465. This report brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Showers expected along and south of I-70 tonight through daybreak Friday with lows in the upper 50s. Then a second round of showers and possible thunderstorms mainly Friday evening and night with highs in the mid-70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
I'm trying hard to figure out in my mind exactly what happened with this Indy mom. And thank God she did this, but she shot a convicted child molester during his attempted assault of her 12-year-old daughter. The mom's working with police. What were they? I don't know. Maybe you can fill in the gaps here. I've been looking at this for a few days. Did these people all know each other? Was the assailant affiliated with the mom in some way? Or is this like a social media meetup type of deal?
I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. So here's the Cliff's Notes, okay, of what happened. There was a young girl, I believe she was 12 years old, and she'd been having conversations with an old dude.
Oh, no.
And I think you know where that's going, right? No. So it was an old creeper.
Sounds familiar, too.
And they were having conversations. Well, for whatever reason, the mom and the daughter, they were staying at a hotel. And this is on the northwest side of Indy. And according to the court documents, the mom left the daughter in the hotel room to go run an errand or do something. And that left the girl alone in the room. Well, the girl and the creepy dude she'd been in contact with came up with a plan to meet up. So the creeper goes into the hotel room the young lady was at alone and tries to assault her. The young lady thought they were just going to be friends, maybe kiss, make out, I don't know. But it got really bad.
But she's 12 years old either way.
Correct.
And this guy has been previously convicted of similar charges.
Correct. He gets out a gun. He kind of beats her with the gun a little bit, rips her clothes off. The girl is screaming. She's yelling. At this point, the mom comes back, and she hears the daughter in the hotel room yelling for help. So she goes into the room, kicks open the door, takes out her gun, and shoots the bastard multiple times. Now, the guy lived, didn't kill him. He is now, facing charges of rape, child molesting, unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon, confinement. The victim was under 14 years of age. There's a long list of charges, but had the mom not came back in time and just lit this dude up, it would have been real bad for this little girl. And I say little girl, she's 12 years old. To me, that's a girl.
Of course.
And man, this happens a lot. These teenage girls, pre-teenage girls, they get into these chat rooms or social media network, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's Roblox. I just heard them talking about that app at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, they and you could chat anonymously with people that are in these chat rooms, as far as I could tell. And I just hope, I don't know exactly. So the mother had no relationship with this guy. This was
not that I'm aware of.
Unbeknownst to her.
Correct.
Okay.
But yeah, she happened to have a firearm on her, and God bless.
Yeah, she should have. I wish the guy just blown him away right there.
Right.
He has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. At least not in my book.
None. Reading the court documents here, the suspect grabbed her arms, pinned her to the bed, began ripping her clothes off, ripped off her tank top, her underpants, was beating her with the weapon, and that's when the mother came in the room, and the guy got shot, was still able to run away, and he's facing all these charges now.
Yeah, that's when he starts to run away, and they say, yeah, you're not really allowed to shoot somebody after they've fled the area. I'm not going to abide by that law. I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to take I'm going to go after the guy with my gun and put a pill in the back of his head if necessary.
And I ain't stopping until I see him eliminated.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Right. I don't care if you're running away or not. I know that's not what Guy Relford would recommend. I know that would probably land me in jail, but yeah, you do that to my daughter and you're going to pay a heavy price.
And Allison, jump in here. As a female, I need a female perspective here. This is a big problem, right? We kind of heard about this a little bit in the Delphi trial. These young girls get into these conversations with people they think are either really good-looking model guys.
Anthony Schatz, was that the moniker?
Right. And it was really that big, fat, creeper guy.
Yeah.
This kind of thing happens a lot to young women.
Yeah, I believe it does, and especially on apps like Snapchat where there's no digital trail because the pictures will disappear, the conversations disappear within so many minutes. It's funny, I was just thinking about, I remember when social media first came out, and I was probably in middle school, and they were doing a lot of these catfish documentaries that were going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of went away. I think we need to bring that back and bring back the awareness that these people online are not your friends, are not who you think they are. And giving out personal information, I mean, stuff like this happens more than it should. It's terrifying.
Did you ever consider meeting up with anybody at any point?
No. I think I was pretty scared straight from the beginning, but I think some of these kids need to be now.
And from the time that you were that age to now, you look at the way technology has advanced. Now you throw AI in the mix. These people can change their voices. They can create different pictures. Everybody's got, their phone where so many bad parents just let their kids, here's the phone, now get out of my hair. And you have no idea what they're doing on it. You got to monitor that stuff.
I got them on lockdown with this baby right here. I got it. What I'm holding up, and I just realized to some people listening that it could have sounded like a gun or something like that. I was holding up my cell phone, and I've got them all.
I wasn't
connected.
mad either way. I
got them all connected, and it's all content restricted for sure.
I have a near 21-year-old that I still have an app on his phone to where I track him where he can drive.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He's a freaking man. He's a grown adult, but I follow that Live 360, man, and I know where my kids are going. I wish more parents kind of did the same thing. Keep an eye on your kids, especially if you got little girls, man. We've got an update. We were talking about Ben Stiller getting his feelings hurt by Pat McAfee being on the microphone at the Pacers game the other night.
Take these sons of bitches home with their ears ringing.
Turn that bleep up. Well, Ben Stiller got his feelings hurt, and he's not the only one now.
Oh, God.
There's somebody else that is saying Pat McAfee was inappropriate. It was embarrassing. And that somebody is old Johnny Cougar. John Mellencamp.
It's just John Mellencamp. He doesn't use the Cougar anymore.
No, old Johnny Cougar is siding with Ben Stiller in this situation, saying Pat McAfee was embarrassing.
I got it right here. You want me to read it? I think he issued this on Instagram. The Knicks-Pacers games have been very entertaining for anyone who likes basketball or sports. I attended Game 4 in Indianapolis. Hoosier hospitality. I was embarrassed when somebody, under whose direction I don't know, called out some of the people who had made the trip from New York to support their team and in turn support our team. The audience booed these people. I'd say that was not Hoosier hospitality.
Oh, Jesus.
One could only say it's poor sportsmanship. I was not proud to be a Hoosier, and I've lived here my entire life. On behalf of most Hoosiers, I would like to apologize for our poor behavior. Oh. I'm sure the Pacers had nothing to do with this smackdown. Signed, John Mellencamp.
Little shot at Pat McAfee for the wrestling tie-in, the smackdown there. Listen, I'm not trying to get a hospitality lecture from Johnny Cougar. That dude's one of the biggest D-bags I've ever met in my life. And everybody who has encountered Cougs pretty much says the same thing. At the Ursay concert a couple years ago, he was an a-hole to people there. I had a buddy text me about that. When I worked at ZPL and he came in studio because he was playing one of our Christmas shows, we told him, dude, you can't smoke in the studio and don't talk politics. He lit up a heater and he talked about John Kerry. Like, he's one of the biggest jerks you've ever met, and he's trying to give us a lecture on hospitality?
Yeah, but not only that, nobody really cares, and it's evident by every time they show him on a big screen, whether it's in Gainbridge Fieldhouse or was it WrestleMania?
The Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. Nobody
Crickets.
gives a flying F what an old washed-up smoker whose lungs are filled with tar has to say. Sorry, nobody cares.
You're right, man. They could have put a janitor on those Jumbotrons, and it would have got the exact same reaction as Johnny Cougs. So, Cougs, if you're listening right now, you might want to put earplugs in, because here to preview the game tonight, AI Rick Carlisle.
Well, New York sucks. I'm upset we are back here. Their fans are all smelly and hairy. I mean, they're really hairy. The most armpit hair I've ever seen on fans is in this dump of a city. Oh, can we talk about how ugly Ben Stiller is?
Please.
He looks like if Mighty Mouse and my poop had a baby. And then there's Timothy Chalamet. It's weird that Nigel wants to go to a Diddy party with him. A friend of mine told me that when Nigel disappoints his wife in bed, it's because he's really thinking of Timothy. I hate Nigel. I hate New York, and I hate Spike Lee. I hope we win by 80 tonight. Go Pacers. New York sucks. AI Carlisle out.
I've never, just for the record, been to a Diddy party. Thank you.
AI Rick Carlisle bringing the heat. Boy, somewhere John Mellencamp, old Johnny Cougar's all upset. Him and Ben Stiller are going to be spooning tonight. Alan Green, he's in for Matt Baer.
On 465 eastbound north side, it's heavy from Keystone to Allisonville. An earlier crash is cleared. 465 westbound jams up between Meridian and Michigan. Southbound collector is heavy from the north to the south split. On 70 westbound at the north split, a crash blocking the left lane there. 465 southbound type between 70 and 74. This report brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
David in the YouTube chat, I forgot about this. Mellencamp wouldn't stand up for the national anthem at a Colts game once. It was a high-profile deal. And he also went on some late-night show and took a knee back when the whole Kaepernick thing was going on. Just one of the great D-bags, if you've ever had the unfortunate privilege to run into that guy. Do not care at all what Johnny Cougs thinks. Right now, we are looking at 71 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We got a fun round of Is This Anything coming up next.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Built to a higher standard. I would know. I only use American Standard products. I had an American Standard air conditioner installed, and I use local, independent American Standard dealers like this one that Hammer's going to tell you about.
Price point comfort Price Point Comfort is your locally owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer that will give you the right price guarantee. They promise not to oversell you, pressure you into a bunch of stuff you don't want or don't need. While many of these other companies do that, Price Point Comfort strives for customer satisfaction. Check them out online, pricepointcomfort.com. That's pricepointcomfort.com, or give them a call, 317-455-1124. You can speak with James, you can speak with Tyler, either one of them. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. Price Point Comfort, your American Standard independent dealer built to a higher standard.
You may not have 1,000 horsepower, but you're always racing, whether it's to work, to pick something up, or drop someone off. So go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Shop any of Hubler's 13 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report.
'Cause Hubler's got you covered.
No matter where you're racing to, go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Millions of illegal aliens crossed our southern border under Biden administration policies. But now, things are changing. This is your Congressman, Jefferson Shreve. I'm committed to securing our borders and to protecting our Hoosier communities. I'm delivering for you. Because of Republican leadership, illegal border crossings are at an all-time low. I'm leading the charge to complete the southern border wall and deport illegal aliens. I'm fighting for Indiana and working for you in Congress.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hey, it's Matt Baer for Cochran Exteriors. Don't wait to beautify your home for summer for a fresh new look and increased home value. New siding by Cochran Exteriors is the answer. From James Hardy fiber cement siding to a big array of vinyl siding colors and styles, the experienced pros at Cochran have all the choices, plus a lifetime workmanship warranty and over 10,000 satisfied customers. For your free estimate, call Cochran Exteriors at 317-ROOFING or visit CochranExteriors.com. Tell them I sent you.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Brought to you by Indiana Unclaimed, presented by the Attorney General's office here in Indiana, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every single week.
Every damn week.
Fast, easy, and free
on the telephone.
To search if you got any money floating around out there. IndianaUnclaimed.gov. On the telephone.
Is this anything? The new CEO of Tinder is trying to revamp the app's hookup reputation.
Wait, is Tinder the one where you swipe
right
left or right?
Correct.
All right.
because it's kind of struggling to gain traction among Gen Zers between the ages of 18 and 28.
Okay.
The new CEO says this generation just doesn't have that much sex. Here is the CEO talking more about Gen Z and Tinder.
This is a generation that experiences a loneliness epidemic. They've been online for the last couple of years. Even when they're not online, they're still online because they're looking at their phones constantly. And so this is a generation that needs IRL, in real life connections. And companies like Tinder can help provide that if we provide them with the types of products that they're looking for. Looking at a photo and judging it, that is cringy for a lot of Gen Z people. Like it makes them feel bad about themselves to look at a photo and say thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Fauci. I blame Fauci for this. Yeah, 2 weeks to spread the curve, to slow the curve, or whatever. I don't know. However you say it, I forget. I put it out of my head, but it goes back to COVID. We were all trapped in our homes, or at least some of us were, that were really scared and really ignorant of the facts. They were trapped in having our crap delivered to us to our door, didn't leave. Lots and lots of free adult websites. And what do you need sex for? And that's what these Gen Zers are doing. I get it. I totally understand.
You get that? Because I grew up in an era where I would never understand that. I've had sex with myself. It's not the same. Allison put that in the Friday montage. Having a partner substantially better.
I'm just saying COVID effed a lot of people up, the majority of which are these Gen Zers who don't really, they live in a virtual reality world. They don't live in the real world. They don't need to meet up. They don't need to be face-to-face.
The kind of guy that wears a mask alone in his car is probably not going to go to his neighbor's house and plow.
I mean, for God's sake, the Vice President of the United States kissed her husband with his mask on. Kamala Harris kissed that dude. They both left their masks on outside.
Now, to be fair, maybe that meant they weren't talking as much. So that would be a plus side.
I wouldn't want to hear her talk either. I don't blame him.
Is this anything? A black squirrel was running around Comerica Park on Tuesday for a baseball game.
Is that that's where the Tigers play?
Yeah. And as it scurried toward the Tigers bullpen, relief pitcher Tyler Holton peered through the chain link fence at the level of the warning track. And just then, the squirrel leaped up and startled the bejesus out of Tyler Holton. Here's the play-by-play, including a little quick impression of Doug, the dog in the movie Up.
Like to stay on topic here, but squirrel. What? Where? Squirrel. Riley Green's like, who invited Rocky?
He can get in, he can get out, he can go wherever he wants.
Oh, look at that.
He's in the bullpen with the guys down there.
Yeah, he is. Watch Tyler Holton. Come here, buddy. Oh, boy. Tyler gets lefties and righties out, but not squirrels.
Oh, my wife would freak out. Yeah, this is something. And there's a squirrel wandering around somewhere in Zionsville that owes me $450.
What?
I'll tell you what happened on Saturday. I get up Saturday to go to my Exercise Inc. workout, right there in Zionsville. And in my car is just, not only is the check engine light on, but it's blinking and it's making a sound. Which that's like ding, ding, ding. Like usually the check engine light's on, it's just on and you don't know what's wrong. You got to go get it checked out.
You ignore it and you keep driving.
Yeah, exactly. But I couldn't ignore it because it was blinking and dinging at the same time. And then my whole car was like just shaking at the stoplight. So there's a Firestone right across there by Stone Creek and Exercise Inc. And I was like 11 o'clock in the morning, the Memorial Day weekend. I go, man, can you guys take a look at this? I don't know what's going on. 2 hours later, the guy calls me. Great service, by the way, at that Firestone. Excellent. We like to call out great service. We have it
for sure.
Guy goes like, yeah, you got like some squirrel or some possum in there. It ate all your wires. I'm surprised your van made it. I'm surprised you even made it into my the auto shop.
That's a thing? Like those little critters chew on wires?
They got in. He said the coating on those wires underneath those engines are like a delicacy to these damn things. So there's a squirrel that owes me about $450, but thanks to Firestone for getting it taken care of within a couple of hours.
Dude, I'd be Liam Neeson on that squirrel. I will find you, and I will kill you.
And then how do you... He told me, you got to buy mothballs. You got to strategically place mothballs in your engine. And so, of course, I go to buy mothballs, and the only sets of balls I could find were $30 for.
Allison, put that on the montage for Friday.
$30 worth of balls for a big bag, and they smell awful. But yeah,
Cliff's notes: Nigel's balls smell awful. That's the headline of this segment.
It costs $30.
And it only costs $30. The IMPD chief of police, Chris Bailey, he wasn't the chief during the riots in 2020, but he was on the ground, boots on the ground. We're going to get his perspective of what we've learned 5 years removed from the worst 2 days in the history of this city. That conversation's coming up next. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Hammer here from my good friends at Diamonds Direct. The best customer service. We were just talking about that. It's right there at Keystone at the Crossing by the Green Bridge. Neve is the manager. He's awesome. And when I go in there, Chris is the sales representative that usually works with me. But they've got so many pros in there. And it doesn't matter what your budget is, they've got something for you. It's graduation season. So whether you've got a graduating boy or a graduating girl, get something from Diamonds Direct. It's like your graduation headquarters. No one's got bigger selections, lower prices, everything from rings to watches to pendants, you name it, they've got it. Diamonds Direct. Keystone at the Crossing. Stop by and say Hammer from Hammer and Nigel sent you.
It's the Bash Sale, the biggest automotive sale in history. Your local Bill Estes dealerships are coming in hot with deals on trucks you don't want to miss. We have a huge selection of trucks at one easy online stop. Brand new Chevy, Ford, GMC, Jeep, Ram, and Toyota trucks with a massive pre-owned selection too. Plus, our fair and direct upfront pricing means what you see is what you pay. Shift into savings during the Bash Sale. Only at Bill Estes dealerships, and drive away in your dream truck today. Online at BillEstesTrucks.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's admitting to his part in the death of a 1-year-old girl. No rain on radar right now. 72 on Monument Circle. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending. Roan Waters accused of kidnapping Oakley Snow in partnership with Snow's mother, then killing the 1-year-old and hiding her body inside a dresser in an abandoned building in Morgantown, has agreed to plead guilty to 3 felony neglect charges. In exchange for the plea agreement, he gets the murder charge dropped. He faces a possible 45 years in prison. The sentencing hearing in June. The mother, Madison Marshall, has agreed to serve 25 years in her plea agreement reached last month. Some of the Trump tariffs may be illegal. The administration is not down with that decision.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the administration is appealing and will prevail after 2 separate courts ruled President Trump exceeded his authority by imposing wide-ranging tariffs on nearly every U.S. trading partner.
Courts should have no role here. There is a troubling and dangerous trend of unelected judges inserting themselves into the presidential decision-making process.
Levitt says trade deficits are a national emergency, but court rulings say the use of those emergency powers don't apply in these cases. Officials say there are other authorities the president can use for tariffs, and Levitt says negotiations on new trade deals are continuing with foreign counterparts. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy reveals a new way to road trip as America nears its 250th year. Fox Business's Grady Trimble explains from the Great American Road Trip Expo in D.C.
We are just outside of the DOT headquarters in the middle of Washington, D.C., where the department is essentially throwing its own auto show. All of this is to encourage Americans to get in their cars, their SUVs, maybe their cyber trucks with an Airstream attached, and hit the road this summer.
Gas prices are down, inflation is down, American spirits are up, so there's no better time to go on a road trip.
Today's event is an early start to celebrating America 250 next year, celebrating 250 years of American independence. Transportation Secretary says he is going to hit the road himself this summer, and the department is going to release 250 landmarks, monuments, and national parks that American families can hit up as they travel the great roadways of the United States.
Hey, I'm down. Traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Race Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Raise Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
Thanks, Chris. 70 westbound at the north split, a crash blocking the left lane. Traffic is backed up from rural Keystone. 465 eastbound heavy Keystone to 69. Westbound 465 slows between Meridian and Michigan. Southbound Collector is jammed up from the north to the south split. And 465 southbound slow from 70 to 74. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go, Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Showers expected along and south of I-70 tonight through daybreak Friday with lows in the upper 50s. Then a second round of showers and possible thunderstorms mainly Friday evening and night with highs in the mid-70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track IMPD urologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hello, my name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest on the hotline.
The Chief of Police is Chris Bailey. And Chief, we've been talking about the 5-year anniversary of the riots in Indy, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. But before we do that, hats off to a successful, what I believe was successful, Pacers and Racers weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were stressed. I know there's a shortage of officers, but man, from what I see, 350,000 people went to the race, 350,000 went home, and then, oh, by the way, there was a Pacers game that night.
Yeah, I mean, no one does it better than Indianapolis when it comes to these large events. And, you know, it was a giant partnership, us, federal partners, state, sheriff's office, Speedway PD. You know, one of the groups that doesn't get enough credit is the Department of Public Works for the Indianapolis. They set all those barricades up. They pick up all the trash along the route. They do such great work. But, yeah, I'm so proud of our team. We had almost 500 officers out on Sunday alone between the race and the Pacers. And, when people go home the way I'm sure they were a little inebriated when they got home, a lot of people.
Sure.
I'm sure they weren't driving. But
I may have been one of them. I had an Uber. I did, Chief. I had an Uber. Okay, just to let you know.
But they got back in relatively the same condition that they left their house. And that was my message to the cops. Look, I got one thing for you right today is get back to this gym at Southwest District the same way you're here right now and get home to your family. That was the most important thing for me and my message to them on Sunday.
Chief, let's look back 5 years ago. Right around this time, it was still peaceful out on Monument Circle. Things got a little dicey after 7 o'clock. I'm looking at the timeline here. I think it was 7:11 p.m.
And you weren't the chief at the time either.
Correct.
That should be
It was around 7:11 p.m. that the reports of the first broken window happened, and after that, all bets were off. Looking back on it, was there anything different the IMPD could have done to have changed the outcome of what we saw for 2 days?
Looking back on those May days, this wasn't just something that our city faced. I think this is a coordinated effort across the country to, cause havoc and wreak havoc to push whatever the agenda was at the time, and there was a convergence of issues. Any good leader that says that they did everything perfect when things didn't go the way you wanted to is not doing their job. Of course, there are things that we could have done different looking back, absolutely. And if we were approached with these type of things again, then we would definitely do it differently. Can I say that the outcome wouldn't be the same? I don't know, right? You can't ever say that, but getting a hold of things early, making sure that ensuring you have enough staff early is important. So that certainly were things that we could have done better, but I'm not going to put a single bit of it on not one single cop that was out there getting fire thrown at them, shots whizzing over their heads. They did their jobs the best they could. They were outnumbered, overwhelmed, and I'll give them credit. We had 2 or 3 really bad days here. After that, it was over. We didn't have 100-plus days like Louisville or multiple weeks like Phoenix where they're administering IVs to their officers to get them back out on the line. And it took us a little bit to get things in motion. And I was out there, and I'm not anything that went wrong is on my shoulders. Everything that went right and the work that happened to end it in just those 3 days all falls on the great work of our cops, medics, and firefighters who are all out there fighting the same thing.
When you got home that first night, whenever that was, however long it took you to get home, were you able to sleep? Did you process? How were you able to emotionally process what you had witnessed?
No, it took me a little bit. I didn't sleep much, but I got up and I had conversations with the prosecutor and all those individuals, and then I got up and I went through and I drove through downtown, and I was heartbroken. I'm heartbroken that our community, now not all of them, there was a lot of people that weren't from here that were part of that destruction. Didn't take very many people to start a riot, but our people they made that choice. People from our community and communities around us made the choice to come downtown and cause that kind of damage, and we lost life, and it was heartbreaking to me. And I have a picture that sits behind my desk that one of our sergeants took of me, Chief Taylor, Chief McCart, Chief Adams, Chief Barker, sitting in the IFD headquarters conference room. And it was an emotional picture that caught just how we were all feeling helpless. We were listening to our cops asking for help or fighting, going from one thing to the next. You'd stop something at this corner, and then you have to go to another corner. And it's still heartbreaking to me. That's a great reminder for me of that day, one of the worst weekends of my career. I've had worse weekends and worse things happen that, losing friends in the line of duty, that type of thing. But this is near the top, and, I was at the top of the leadership ladder. So, things that went wrong, like I said, I played a part in the decisions that were made. And if I go back, I'd change several things. But there's some things that we just couldn't account for, and we did the best we could.
At any point, were officers told to stand down? I don't know if that's the right terminology or not, but basically, give them space, let them do their thing, stand down. At any point, was that the case?
No, I will tell you that our officers stood up where I, and that was me, that asked to give them space was on Monument Circle. I was standing there, and us getting close, we were going to get into a confrontation that the confrontation didn't need to happen there. It wasn't until they left the circle and groups of people joined that we saw and when it got dark, and then there was a group at the city county building also that did some things there that really set it off. And so, I said give people space there. Yeah, that was me. I've said that before. I've admitted it to our cops. But at that time, I think it was the right decision. There was no stand-down order to let them create and do destruction from me or anyone else or Chief Taylor. But at the time, that seemed like the right decision rather than to get into, on a Monument Circle, some officers swinging their sticks against people that at the time weren't doing anything but yelling at the police and exercising their First Amendment right. And you see, cops, government, which we represent, walk a fine line between protecting the community, property, and lives and protecting the Constitution. And it is a fine line to walk, because at the end of the day, it's not, you all, it's going to be the cops. It's not people that own a business downtown. It's going to be the cops that are drugged in front of a judge, potentially civilly liable themselves. And so it's a fine line of balancing that. But I will never be a part of anything like that again. We will use every resource that we have to prevent that from happening. It's just we cannot let it happen again. But we're also not a military force. I don't have access to thousands of police officers. And remember, we have 350 square miles of a city to continue to police as people were doing what they were doing downtown. So, hell of a balancing act, and our cops did everything they could.
Do you think the National Guard should have been called in sooner?
Those conversations were had, and they were utilized mostly for the protection of state property.
Sure.
Around the Capitol, around the War Memorial, and those monuments. In those conversations were had about the timing of those things, and maybe there's a lot of things we should have done differently. I should have called people in. We should have called people in a lot earlier on Saturday. We should have diverted the traffic around downtown and prevented cars from coming in earlier and on Saturday rather than as the week went on. But there are consequences to that too. We're preventing people from. We're not coming to riot. We're coming to peacefully protest, and now you're preventing us from doing that.
Right.
But when all hell's breaking loose like that, you're going to take the opportunities. You're going to have to roll the dice on litigation at some point, because our priority is life preservation and property preservation, and there were failures of leadership on the police department's side, and I take that 100% accountability. But it's easy to look back in hindsight too and say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Why didn't I?
Right.
In the moment when you're just trying to figure out what's next, what tools to use, where are they going, how do we get people here and protect our community at the same time and do our regular job. There's still going to be runs coming in on the far east side and the far west side, the far south side, the far north side. It's a little more difficult at the time, but looking back, we've made some changes that I think are helpful.
And I'd like to put you on hold real quick, Chief. We're going to take a break, come right back. We're speaking with IMPD Chief Chris Bailey here on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Employee pricing. That's right. At Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, you can get employee pricing across a full lineup of your favorite trucks and SUVs. Their entire American inventory has been marked with employee pricing, so you pay what they pay on F-150s, on Super Duties, Explorers, all of them with employee pricing. And if you need something a little smaller but still want to be able to haul the crew and cargo around, the Edge is the perfect choice for you. And you'll definitely enjoy the excellent fuel economy. Plus, it's loaded with safety features. Get more to your door with Andy Moore Ford. Simply purchase your vehicle online and they'll deliver it to you. And if you need to sell or trade your current vehicle, the time has never been better. Andy Moore Ford will pay top dollar for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from them. Employee pricing on all your favorite Fords are at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at Andy Moore Ford, MOHR.
I love Andy.
AndyMooreFord.com.
Attention Indiana homeowners. Are you dealing with a wet and moldy crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts dedicated to fixing your crawl space right the first time. And with our new no interest, no payment financing, you can get the repairs you need without breaking the bank. Don't let crawl space water problems dampen your spirits. Call Swain Co., Indy's most trusted waterproofing experts at 317-407-1868 or SwainCoLLC.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
911, what's your emergency?
Por favor, necesito ayuda. Está volando y creo que me va a pegar otra vez.
I will get someone to speak with you. Please stay on the line.
Hola, tengo su ubicación. Ayuda está en camino.
Getting past a language barrier is critical when first responders help Hoosiers. That's why the State 911 Board provides special tools for non-English speaking citizens to communicate with emergency services.
Si estás en peligro, aunque no hables inglés, podrás recibir ayuda en una emergencia rápidamente.
All Indiana 911 centers began offering translation services in over 240 languages in 2019. Now, people can send text messages for help in their native language to 911 and receive a translated text back from the dispatcher. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations.
Cuando llame o envíe un texto al 911, un servicio de traducción se asegurará que entiendan lo que está diciendo.
For more information, visit in911.net.
Gracias.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
At Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, our mission is to provide honest assessments and recommendations. We promise you'll never be sold something you don't need.
PricePointComfort.com. They are your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Sundown Gardens in Westfield. 20% off container trees and shrubs, 30% off pottery. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Addiction doesn't just affect one person, it touches everyone around them. That's why Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick created the Supporting Sobriety podcast. It's for the friends and family standing behind, offering hope, guidance, and real talk. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Alan Green's got a look at the roads.
Tamer, 465 eastbound jams up Keystone to 69. Southbound Collector is heavy from the north to the south split. 70 westbound, there was an accident at the north split, and that is gone, but traffic is backed up from rural Keystone now. 465 eastbound at Arlington, a stalled vehicle that's got the right shoulder taken out. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go, Drexel Interiors, for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at DrexelIN.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
71 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back with IMPD Chief Chris Bailey, sort of reminiscing and reflecting on a dark period here in the history of Indianapolis, the 5-year anniversary of the riots. And Chief, I know you've been very open and honest about things that you said you would have done differently, different calls you should have made. And Chief, nobody is here blaming you. I think the IMPD did the best job they could with the tools that they had at the time, and I'm speaking personally here, appreciate your leadership.
Well, thank you. Look, we are a city that, we did not riot when Martin Luther King was killed. And I have lots of experience with protests and things throughout my career. And that's what I said to that review committee. I've never seen it like this. The convergence of a global pandemic, the murder of George Floyd, our own issues with the community here, and officer-involved shooting incidents, people not having a job or to go to, schools were closed. All the convergence of issues came together at one time.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I ever want to see anything like that again in my lifetime, and hopefully we never will. And nothing, to my knowledge, has ever existed like that, those things all at one time. The latest, I did some research that the late 60s, early 70s, when we were having these same kind of racial reformation ideas about policing occurred. But when you throw in a global pandemic and people not going to work and not going to school and looking for something to do, and I believe there was a coordinated effort in some of these places around the country to cause this to happen, and I hate that it happened here under our watch.
Chief, we got about a minute left here. And again, thank you so much for your time. Was it bad for morale for other officers when this independent report came out that was put forth by the mayor's office that kind of blamed police for escalating what happened during those two nights?
Yes. And I think that's still a contributing factor today to retention and recruitment efforts in our city and major cities across the country.
Wow.
It's always easy to blame the police department for things that go wrong in a city. We're the most forward-facing arm of government, and everybody knows they need us, but they also know that the easy way to cast blame is to blame the police. And I'm not putting that on the mayor. The mayor had no choice but to have a review done. Every city did it. I disagree with a lot of things in that report. I've said that. I said that to the people that after the fact that committed to that report. But the world was different also in 2020 and 2021. Every word that you said, everything that you did could have contributed to something else negative happening in your community. And so I think people were more scared to stand up for what's right. And, but I disagree with some of the things in that report, and I agree with some of the things in that report.
Well, Chief, we are grateful that you took the time to join us here today to talk about things that happened 5 years ago. Also, great job this past weekend with all eyes on the city of Indianapolis. And keep fighting the good fight, man. Be safe out there.
All right. Thank you very much for the time.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams.
Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across Central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tamara and Nigel to 46220 or visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Are back on. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A federal appeals court, at least for now, reinstating tariffs that were blocked by a federal trade court.
President Trump's case is ironclad, and the appeals court took almost no time at all. In fact, we're surprised it took till the end of the day for them to overturn this previous ruling.
The head of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, calls today's ruling a big victory for the president.
The bottom line is that President Trump's trade team has their eyes on the horizon. They understand that we've got to make America great again by making trade deals fair, by advantaging U.S. producers and U.S. farmers when they sell things in foreign markets, and leveling the playing field at home for foreign products that are brought here.
The trade court had ruled the president exceeded his authority by using an Emergency Powers Act to impose reciprocal tariffs on many countries. The White House calling it another example of activist judges and urging the U.S. Supreme Court to act. The Justice Department now asking a federal judge to dismiss a criminal fraud charge against Boeing after the company reached an agreement with prosecutors in the case stemming from 2 deadly 737 MAX crashes. Under the deal, Boeing would pay more money to crash victims and an additional fine, but many victims' families have been pushing for a criminal trial. The Justice Department argues the deal secures meaningful accountability in a complex case with an outcome that would otherwise be uncertain. After the recent issues at New Jersey's Newark Airport, including air traffic controllers losing contact with the plane, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells Fox,
"We have a number of what I'll call blips, about 100, 200 a week in the telecom system. But we have redundancies in place, and so the system is safe."
Duffy says his job is to look over the horizon beyond fixes already underway for Newark as he pushes Congress to rebuild the air traffic control system. America is listening to Fox News.
'93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A call for help from Indiana to D.C. Nothing showing up on radar this afternoon. It's mostly cloudy. You do have a chance for rain tonight. 74 now on Monument Circle. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 5:02.
It's easy to complain when you're inconvenienced, but that, like I said, that perspective change of thankfulness is very powerful.
Lamont Glover was one of hundreds of Hoosiers affected by storms in the past couple of months. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security says Governor Braun has asked for federal help, requesting a presidential disaster declaration through FEMA. There's no guarantee that will be granted, but the request goes up the chain to the president, who looks at the damage estimates and the requirements. Essentially, they'll get back to us.
We're a service organization first and foremost. We're the largest in the government outside of DOD.
He's Doug Collins, Secretary of the Veterans Administration. He's been in Indiana for the past couple of days.
But our job is not to be an employment agent, it's not to be anything else except service to our veterans.
With visits to the VA Health Center in Evansville Wednesday, then the Roundbush VA Hospital in Indy Thursday, he says his goal for the visits is to see how best to make improvements so that veterans get the health care they've been promised. You may have heard about a new Indiana law designed to protect victims of domestic violence. Ryan Hedrick explains what's changing and why it matters.
My sister only felt safe when he was in jail, and I don't want any family or any woman or man to go through we had to go through with her.
Michelle Hennessy at the State House Thursday for a bill signing. Her sister was murdered just before Christmas in 23. One of the new laws lets courts require ankle monitors for people charged with domestic violence.
They just need some kind of warning.
That law goes into effect on July 1st. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
He was trying to cross into Canada with a sword and a hatchet. 42-year-old Gurdev Singh, a man from India who had overstayed his visa and who was wanted in Plainfield for child solicitation, was arrested in Clinton County, New York. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Neiman Harvest Market.
Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
Thanks, Chris. 65 southbound slows up now from State Road 267 into the Dog Leg. 465 northbound heavy between 86 and the Dog Leg. Eastbound 465 between Keystone and 69, lots of brake lights. 70 westbound is tight from rural Keystone into the North Split. And 70 eastbound from Harding to the South Split is backed up as well. This report brought to you by Experience Columbus. Looking for live music, cold drinks, wild zoo days, and big game nights this summer? Yes, Columbus. Plan your trip at experiencecolumbus.com/summer. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Showers expected along and south of I-70 tonight through daybreak Friday with lows in the upper 50s. Then a second round of showers and possible thunderstorms mainly Friday evening and night with highs in the mid-70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock!
Hammer, I love that President Trump rejected a paltry $15 million offer, a settlement from CBS to settle his $20 billion election interference lawsuit, again against CBS. You remember they edited Kamala's interview on 60 Minutes, the whole base of this to make her sound like she wasn't an idiot.
Right.
Which some would say that's election interference.
Correct. And those people would be right. And that's why CBS is trying to settle this. But the old man's like, no, you can take your $15 million, turn it sideways and stick it up your backside here. We want the full amount, maybe even more. Maybe we're going to ask for $25 million. The parent company of CBS is Paramount. And they have offered to settle the suit for $15 million.
How humiliating.
And
That's
Trump
great.
said no.
Yeah, so he does want at least $25 million.
Well, the suit itself was 20, and now he's saying he wants 25.
So wait, so is it billion or million? Because I'm looking the first.
Okay. The suit is $20 billion. He said he wants at least $25 million in the settlement.
Okay.
You're right.
There's a big difference still, though, but either way, it's humiliating for CBS to have to settle with something like this and admit settling. I feel like I wonder if they would make them admit that they did this intentionally to help Kamala Harris.
Well,
With the
speaking of
campaign.
admissions, that's one of the things Trump's holding out on. He wants at least $25 million and an apology from CBS that they tried to make Kamala Harris not sound like such an idiot that she is. He wants a very nice, heartfelt apology. They've had heads rolling over there. They've had people fired left and right.
Yeah.
They know they're going to have to pay. That's why they've blown out their news director, countless people at the network. They're in trouble on this one. But yet all of your liberal friends will always talk about Fox News. And okay, fine. But how's Jake Tapper's legal career going? He just had to settle after defaming a member of the military. And now CBS, they've offered $15 million, and that's not enough.
Yeah. Fox News had to pay a decent settlement to the voting machine.
The
people.
Dominion.
The
right.
Dominion.
And that's all people still talk about, right? All of your liberal friends will act like Fox is the only network that's had to pay somebody money.
No.
But then Nicholas Sandman enters the chat, and that dude got paid by how many networks?
Wow.
After they ripped him, they said he had a punchable face. He was the instigator in that situation in Washington where some lunatic activist was playing his drum in his face, and all he did was sit there and smile wearing a MAGA hat.
That's all he did.
That's all he did. Miss Allison, hit me with a little mood music, please.
A beautiful bunch, all right, banana.
Come and me one go home. According to a new poll, what end would you open a banana from? 72% said they open the end with the stem. So you find the stem, you crack it open there. Yeah. 72% do that.
Of course.
20% said the other end, which is more popular with younger adults and monkeys. So, Nige, I ask you, stem or other end?
I've only ever in my life opened a banana at the stem. Who opens it at the opposite end?
Young people and monkeys. That's it.
You peel it.
Right.
That's an easy, you're a psychotic weirdo if you open it from the other end.
Excuse me.
Allison? No.
A couple of years ago, I learned this hack, and it's 10 times easier.
Oh, did you learn it on TikTok?
Did you need a hack to open a banana?
No, I didn't. Huh?
Did you really need a hack to open a banana?
Well, apparently I did, because sometimes the stem snaps in half, and then you got to kind of dig your finger in there.
Oh,
so then you just pinch the top or pinch the bottom, and it just opens. And the stem acts as a little handle.
She needed a hack to open the
Listen, you go down some rabbit holes.
I just can't get these bananas open. Someone.
Well, it wasn't like I Googled it. I just stumbled upon it.
I'm going to have to type this in YouTube and figure out how to open this banana properly.
Technology, help me. I need nourishment, and I just can't figure it out.
Okay, I'm just saying, I bet you I could open the banana quicker than you guys could.
No way. No way. Now, by the way, do you guys know what the official name is for the tips of the banana? That's like the mushy kind of stuff. Do you know what it's officially dubbed as?
Not the stem, but the other end?
Like either end of the banana. Like each end.
Actual banana.
The
right,
nipple?
the actual banana. It looks like a nipple. Satan's anus.
Scientific term.
The rest of the banana is sweet, delicious nourishment. The tips of the banana, Satan's anus.
That is not true. You
I did
just
not
made
learn
that
that in
up.
health class.
You just made that up off the top of your head.
Somebody told me that when I was younger, and it always stayed with me. Sweet nourishment, about 98% of the banana. The tips, Satan's anus.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
According to a new report, there are specific sounds that instantly make people angry. Some fun answers in this report.
The sound of Hammer's voice.
Styrofoam rubbing on styrofoam. That drives my youngest nuts.
Oh, I've never had a problem with that.
Styrofoam on styrofoam. Oh, it drives Jacob nuts. Microwaves that keep beeping. The chirp of a dying smoke detector.
Yes, a dying battery and a smoke detector. Yes.
Fork scraping against a plate.
Oh, yeah.
Teams notification. Little Teams notification.
I hate Teams.
Oh, God. Maybe you should try classic Teams, Nige. Little inside joke.
Inside.
Is there a sound, and we'll go around the room here, that just drives you nuts? Other people are fine with it, but it drives you nuts. Like for me, it's cracking of knuckles. I hate the sound of people cracking knuckles. It weirds me out. Oh, stop it. God, oh, no.
That's not even that bad.
Satan's anus. What about you?
I'll go along the lines of nails on a chalkboard or a fork on like a porcelain plate or something like that you mentioned. For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, those are awful. Awful. I don't know that they make me angry.
Just cringeworthy, though, right? Like here, I think we got a montage here. These are some of the sound effects that people have said make them uncomfortable.
Styrofoam.
Microwave.
Oh, that's it.
The smoke detector. Team. Oh, there's the fork.
Oh, I hate that.
Allison?
When people are crunching on crushed ice.
Chewing sound of crushed ice.
That's disgusting.
Interesting.
Now,
I've got a pellet ice maker in my house. I love the pellet ice.
I do too. Are you a crushed ice guy or a cubed ice guy? If going to a fountain machine at a gas station.
Not crushed. The pellet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a difference.
Pellet, crushed, or cubed then. Let's add that to the mix.
Let's go pellet first, then cubed. I don't like the crushed ice.
Not a crushed guy.
No. But that smoke detector thing, especially, you live in a house with 800, you never know where it's coming from.
Right.
Right?
And it only goes off at 3, 4 in the morning.
Yes.
It never goes off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when you're wide awake.
Right. You never know where it's at. Right?
There is one more sound, according to this report, that instantly just makes people want to jump off a bridge. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah. Is that a combo there?
That was the Hillary cackle and the Kamala laugh. All mashed up together. A sound that we love is the sweet sound of Alan Green, and he's got to look at the roads.
Wow, I am honored. All right, 10th Street. Westbound at Beachway Drive, there's a report of a crash. 465 eastbound slows up from Keystone to 69. 465 northbound between 86 and the Dogleg is backed up. 465 southbound jams up now between 71st and 38th. On 65 southbound, things are heavy between State Road 267 and the Dogleg. This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Some of the folks in the YouTube chat have weighed in here on the annoying sounds that make them cringe a little bit.
Okay.
Velcro. Somebody says Velcro. They don't like the sound of Velcro.
No.
Disc brakes grinding, like the grinding sound of your brakes if they need to be changed.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
And then Jim says the sound of Rob Kendall's voice. Thank you for your feedback there. Jim, get ready, pal. Rob Kendall's going to come up here in about 15 minutes and go off the rails. He's going to rip off his shirt like Hulk Hogan, and we'll reminisce about the riots that took place in Indy 5 years ago today.
Farting on a packed elevator.
I don't mind the sound of it. It's more of the smell. That's the problem.
That would be better, yeah.
71 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. A fun round of Are You Okay With This is next.
You may not have 1,000 horsepower, but you're always racing, whether it's to work, to pick something up, or drop someone off. So go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Shop any of Hubler's 13 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report.
'Cause Hubler Hubler's got you covered.
No matter where you're racing to, go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah! Superstar country music singer Shania Twain. Especially, I mean, she had her day in the sun, especially in the mid-90s, late 90s.
Probably country queen of the 90s.
Yeah. Surprised a very small bar in the Bahamas by getting on the mic and singing Still the One. The few people that got to witness it were quite pleased.
I'm so glad we made it. Just look how far we come, my baby.
I thought it sounded stupid. Are you okay with this?
I mean, I'm all right with it. If I'm in the Bahamas and I got Shania Twain up there singing one of her hits,
sure.
I'm going to take that. If my options are not seeing Shania Twain on the stage or seeing Shania Twain on the stage at this bar, sign me up for Shania.
Okay. All right.
Is it the best performance I've ever heard? No. Which brings us...
I heard like a drum kick and a cymbal and her singing I didn't get it.
Which brings us...
Sorry.
to great moments in Shania Twain history. Nige, here she is doing her cover of the AC/DC hit, Shook Me All Night.
No.
He kept his motor clean. He was the best dumb-looking guy I've ever seen. He had sexy eyes telling me over lies. He was knocking me out with those American eyes.
Now, I can tell you're not really feeling that, but was it better or worse than Celine Dion's version?
Oh, I was going to get confused with Celine Dion's version.
Well, it's never good.
Yeah, Celine Dion said best damn man I've ever seen.
She said best looking guy.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I'd never heard that before. That's the first time I've heard that. Oh, I have to go back and listen to compare the two, but I'm going to stick with Celine Dion.
Okay. Allison, see if you can go into our folder and find Celine Dion's version of AC/DC.
Yeah, but that was cringy too, whatever you just played me there.
She's one of these people that like to do a lot of fun covers when they're out on the road sometimes, and she's been known to do a cover of like rock songs, and AC/DC was one of them. Do we have that yet, Allison? Okay, that's fine. Let's go into a comment Celine Dion made, and this is something I think we can all agree on. She thinks it's awesome when people want to take pictures of her naked.
I'm only going to get saggier and older and wrinklier as time goes on, so I might as well jump in right now and face this head on, do a naked photo shoot. And that's what I did. And it just helped me so much. It was it was like, okay, just dive in.
Her theory is, I'm going to get old one day, so take all the naked pictures of me now.
So there's a nude photo. There's nude photos of Shania Twain out there? I've never seen those.
I believe she did a whole layout. Now, maybe it's partial nude where she covers up the bits and pieces, but you see like maybe part of a butt crack or something. I don't know. But we do now have Celine Dion's version, okay? So I want you to compare and contrast Shania's.
I need to hear both.
Right. Okay, this first one is Celine Dion's cover of AC/DC.
He was a fast machine. He kept his motor clean. He was the best damn man I had ever seen. He had size, telling me no lies, and knocking me out with those American thighs.
Okay, now hold on. Hold that thought. Compare that with Shania Twain's version of AC/DC.
He kept his motor clean. He was the best dumb-looking guy I've ever seen. He had sexy eyes telling me over lies. He was knocking me out with those American eyes.
Which one? You can only listen to one of those songs for the rest of your life. Is it Celine Dion's version? Is it Shania Twain's version?
Oh, wow. Well, Celine Dion still takes the cake. That was awful. Yeah,
so that's the worst version.
That's the worst version.
Okay.
It's just talking about American thighs is fine, but like when you're invoking dudes, yeah, man, look at his thighs. There's a great American thighs. No, that's not the essence of the song. Don't change the song. You're allowed to be a woman and cover the song and still say it was the best damn. Never mind.
So if you're a dude and you want to cover Any Man of Mine, I feel like you have to say Any Man of Mine, right? You can't change it to Any chick of mine better be good looking, big old hooters, lots of cooking. You can't change the lyrics. That's not how this works.
Oh, well, you just switched it up on me there, didn't you? I don't know. I'm not singing either one of those.
All right, fair enough. Move on.
Well, what do you want to do here? We've got limited amount of time here.
Can we do Arby's? Let's talk about Arby's at the bottom here.
Arby's started testing steak nuggets in selected markets, but they're not breaded like chicken nuggets. Some say they're surprisingly edible with sauce, but the internet does not think they need to stick around here. Multiple people on TikTok giving their reviews.
First impressions, it smells good. Looks, this bit look like dirt. If your steak can't taste good without sauce, that bit mid. I don't know, the taste is weird.
Is that
a burnt pine cone. If you look in the toilet and see this, you need to drink more water.
I wouldn't say I would go out of my way to get them again, but they do have good flavor and I'm not sad about it.
Are you okay with steak nuggets from Arby's?
Sure, they can do what they want. I don't have to order it. Like, I feel like the food critic people are kind of like the movie critic people. They're just such snobs that anything that doesn't taste like a steak from St. Elmo is going to be crap to them. Look, I like Taco Bell. I like McDonald's.
Me too.
Is it the best thing that's ever happened to my mouth? No, it's not. But if, somebody brought up some steak nuggets from Arby's, I'll give them a go, and I'm willing to bet I probably had worse stuff before. And it's weird because this is the second time today I've had a conversation about Arby's. I spoke with Rob Kendall earlier, who is an unofficial, unpaid spokesman of Arby's. It's like his favorite place in the world. And here's the thing we could never understand. Even before inflation, even before high prices, why the hell is roast beef sandwiches so expensive? Arby's has always set the bar for expensive fast food. Why? It's roast beef.
You said 5 for $5, right?
They did, and now it's like you're lucky if you can get 1 for $5. So, real quick, I know we got to hit a break here. Are you a horsey sauce guy or an Arby's sauce guy?
Mix.
Oh.
Nope, I'm mixing both.
Okay.
Yep, and that's an option. So
Allison, horsey sauce, Arby's sauce.
Arby's sauce.
I'm team horsey sauce.
All
We
right.
have come to a Mexican standoff here, apparently. All right. Speaking of Arby's, Rob Kendall coming up next, right after the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Will he go or won't he? Some showers are starting to make their way from Illinois into Indiana. You do have a chance for rain tonight. Nothing showing up on radar right now in the Indy metro. It's 72 downtown. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending. Concerns being voiced by the Trump administration after judges across the U.S. have been challenging much of the action taken by President Trump, including the attempted deportation of alleged anti-Israel student protester Mahoud Khalil. Fox's Eric Shawn.
One judge said, yes, he can be deported. Then another said, not so fast. The fate of pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil now in the hands of a judge who has cast doubt on the Trump administration's actions. Khalil was taken into custody by ICE in March and ordered deported for his role in those pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University. But New Jersey federal judge Michael Farberez has ruled the move was likely unconstitutional, fearing it could open a path for unlimited government power. The Trump administration revoked Khalil's legal permanent resident status after Secretary of State Marco Rubio found that he poses a threat to U.S. foreign policy interests.
Here in Indiana, a man who was wanted on a child solicitation charge in Plainfield has been arrested trying to cross the border from Clinton County, New York into Canada. Canadian border authorities say 42-year-old Gurdev Singh had a sword and a hatchet on him and was denied entry. The U.S. Court of International Trade is blocking most of President Trump's tariffs, ruling Wednesday that he overstepped his authority under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt says they are appealing that decision, calling it another example of judicial overreach, but says they will not stop carrying out the president's trade policy.
The president's trade policy will continue. We will comply with the court orders, but yes, the president has other legal authorities where he can implement tariffs.
The White House is expected to send a roughly $9.4 billion federal spending cut proposal to Congress next week in the hopes of blocking funds already allocated by Congress. The primary targets are NPR, PBS, and USAID. Now traffic on 93 WIBC.
It's on 465 southbound, a delay between 70 and 74. 465 eastbound heavy Keystone into 69. Southbound 465 backs up from 71st down to 38th. 65 southbound heavy from State Road 267 to the Dogleg. Southbound Collector still jams up from the north to the south split. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go, Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 and River Road, North Shaland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Showers expected along and south of I-70 tonight through daybreak Friday with lows in the upper 50s. Then a second round of showers and possible thunderstorms mainly Friday evening and night with highs in the mid-70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track IMPD urologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
And now, Hammer and Nigel go off the rails with Rob Kendall.
Noise pollution.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Also joining us live in studio, Rob Kendall from the #1 rated Kendall and Casey Show. Here to go off the rails. Rob, how are you?
Great. Thanks as always to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis. They're the best.
One of the things I remember vividly, there's so many memories, mostly negative, about the 5-year anniversary of the riots, is listening to you on the air the very next day. I was like, the first thing I thought of, I go, well, I can't believe Rob even came into work after all the destruction and damage and chaos that was taking place the night before. What are your thoughts? What are your memories? Did you come in the first day?
Second day.
You
Sunday.
came in the second day.
Sunday, after the second night of riots.
After the second night of riots. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, and we were downtown the first night of riots. Gabrielle was my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, and I remember that was the first weekend they had opened the bars up to go back in, and so we were down at
post-COVID.
Yeah, post-COVID.
Okay.
And so we were down there celebrating, and the sun starts going down, and we're near the windows there at Brothers, and I'm like looking out the window, and I'm seeing these people walk by, and it's like, I said, Gabrielle, we got to go. And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, I'll tell you on the way, but we got to go. Like, you see these people.
Things are about to get mostly peaceful down here.
And we're walking. As we're walking back up towards the circle, you can see the crowd starting to gather. And these guys that are walking like around us and behind us, I can hear their conversation. You don't dare turn around and look at them. But I'm hearing the things they're talking about and how they're talking about, we got to avoid the police. Let's go over here. Let's do that. And I told her, I said, we've got to get to the garage. We got to get out of here as fast as we can. And about an hour later is when, of course, the mayor didn't do it because no one still knows. Think about it. No one knows still 5 years later where the mayor was during the riots.
During night number 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because he shows up like the next day to crap all over the police. That's the first thing he does.
And he tweeted, and remember, we were on the group text in the middle of the night. There was some tweet that came out from him, and we were like, what is going on?
Some staffer clearly put that out.
Sure, and everybody knows now, and you've talked to him, I've talked to him. The police still had that thing under control until the city, Thomas Carl Cook or whoever, gave the order, and I believe the exact words were, let them march, were the phrase that I was told.
Give them room. Like, that's, the kind of the gray area, right? Because we spoke to the chief of police earlier. We've spoken with FOP President Rick Snyder. It went from give the peaceful protesters room to do their thing, but then after that,
they started doing their thing.
Right.
Yeah, and whether it was Thomas Carl Cook or whoever gave that order, you still I don't think totally know. And Joe Hoggs won't even tell you where he was during the riots, and the media in this city is so inept that he's been allowed to get away with that. And look,
could you imagine, let's just say that it was Republican Todd Rokita as the mayor, or it was Republican Micah Beckwith as the mayor. Don't you think there'd be a little bit more criticism about the whereabouts of the guy in charge during a deadly riot where 2 people were murdered?
Well, and think about, you cannot blame Hogshead and not blame Holcomb, because Holcomb knew it was coming too.
You're right.
Where was the National Guard?
Yes.
Where were the state police?
Yes.
They can't help if they're not there. And then they knew it was coming night too. That's the worst part, is all day these people are out in the streets, and they're saying, you're hearing the chatter. I'm talking to people with the IMPD saying, yeah, they're saying it's going to get bad again tonight. And nothing was done to help these people. Nothing was done for reinforcement. And, of course, then a couple days later, well, you got Holcomb saying it's a noble cause, right? And then you've got Malik Muhammad leading his merry band of misfits down to the governor's mansion, threatening to seize the thing on live TV. Not only does nothing happen to him, he gets a VIP meet and greet with the governor, and then heads off to Portland, where he's now sitting in prison, or at least last check he was sitting in prison for attempting to kill cops. It's like living in some sort of twilight zone during this period.
Nigel and I played the audio earlier of a conversation we had with Greg Byers, who was the owner of Windsor Jewelry. At the time was there on Monument Circle, and it was looted out night number 1. And Think about all the businesses downtown that had a brick thrown through, that had a Molotov cocktail thrown through. They were looted out. And then, Rob, the city chamber endorses Joe Hogsett on the very next election. They think that's okay for the business community to just be ransacked, and they said, we're going to reward Joe Hogsett with our endorsement.
You know, what's fascinating is, so you had mentioned this, I drove Sunday, so we left Friday, we got out just in time, came back Sunday. I owned a radio station for many, many years near the Port of Wilmington. Obviously, no stranger to hurricanes. I've seen communities get devastated by hurricanes. I've had a radio station devastated by a hurricane on more than one occasion. And when I drove down here on Sunday, and the glass, there were still fires.
You were helping clean up.
The looks on people's faces. I mean, the looks that you would see on people's faces, it was as though, it was worse than what you would see, or every bit as equal to what you would see from people who had been through hurricanes. And you feel like you're in some dystopian existence. And then you're right. So another disgraceful thing is there's all this profanity over the State House, the sidewalks, the statues, everything. And for like a week, it's just sitting there. And I came back the next weekend, and it was still there. And I said, I'm going to go over there. And there's a video of it. Jason just sent it over to me. And I can't wait to see how ridiculous I look. But I'm like on my knees, getting profanity up off of the sidewalks. It's like the city just gave up. The governor it is bipartisan. The Republican governor gave up. Had no respect for the city. The Democrat mayor gave up, had no respect for the city. And I don't think Indianapolis has ever recovered from that.
And do you remember the substance of you were basically the first one on the radio after the second night of the riots, notwithstanding the great work the newsroom did covering the actual riots in the heat of it. But I mean, you had a Sunday show by yourself for 2 hours, and do you remember the feelings that some of the things you may have talked about?
Well, and I want to talk about everybody, though, because I think one of the reasons WIBC, I mean, look, we're by market share, probably the most listened to talk radio station in America. And we still are for all these years, because you guys do this, I do it, Tony does it. We don't peddle the narrative. And remember, at the time, the narrative was you can't be critical of these people. Like, you don't know what they're going through. And we said, bull crap.
You have to view George Floyd as a martyr.
Right, and we've never bought into that. We didn't buy into it during COVID. We didn't peddle the narrative during COVID. We didn't do it here.
And I remember you weren't having any of it the very next day.
That's right.
That's what I remember listening to you in my backyard doing yard work.
Unacceptable, unexcusable, and all of these years later, but the problem is nothing ever happens to anybody. Eric Holcomb gets reelected governor. Joe Hogsett, what is he, on his 8th term now as mayor? I mean, maybe he'll bring Thomas Carl Cook back again to help him win another. Just nothing happened to anyone. And you're right, Hammer. The gross part about this was many of these same people who Hogsett allowed their businesses to get destroyed came out and supported him again.
Right. People were murdered in the streets. Innocent people. Chris Beatty, i.e. Mr. Indianapolis, as he was known as. I knew Chris from when I was a promotions and marketing director. Just a positive dude, always did fun events, sports-related stuff around Indy. Was trying to help a woman who was about to be assaulted and was murdered in the streets of Indianapolis during the riots. And yes, his assailants were ultimately found, but the lack of leadership in the city, I still feel like, and maybe I'm the Lone Ranger, these are the same police department members that can keep 350,000 people safe at the Indianapolis 500. They could have kept Indianapolis safe if they had the green light to do their jobs.
Oh, totally. And I was there, like I said, that night and got out before it got bad. I think about people like poor Kyle Wells, who's sitting on the 4th floor here watching these people try to break into this building and then has got to drive the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to reiterate this again, because I think one of the reasons WIBC is so revered and the listenership is so loyal that guys like you two guys had to go on the air Monday in an afternoon drive show, and you guys never wilted. You never towed the line of this is acceptable. And I think that built a lot of great will amongst our listeners who were feeling that same thing. And you guys deserve a lot of credit because you were, I was just, working with the women back then, but you guys had the show and you guys came out of the gate rip roaring as well.
And man, you're so right. It wasn't just Joe Hogsett. There's a lot of people with an R next to their name that dropped the ball on this too. And Governor Holcomb, he was Johnny Tough Guy on COVID crackdowns. Don't you dare open up a business during COVID. But when Windsor Jewelry is having a window broken out and people leaving with their merchandise, the liquor store is being looted, fires are burning downtown.
The banks are on fire.
Banks are on fire. There's profanity graffitied on the soldiers and sailors monuments.
My dad's business property, all the windows got blown out. All those giant windows got multiple. And the thing I remember about that is that strangers came up to help him sweep up the next day.
You saw
and board up.
You
board up
saw
those windows.
a lot of good in terms of the people.
You did,
and the way they helped, and the way they helped others.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, let's talk about something that put you in your happy place. Diego Morales. All right? Rob Kendall, he's coming right back. We're going off the rails. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. You know, guys who are on top of their game choose We Grow Hair Indy. People like Rajiv Ram, two-time Olympic medal winner. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, and you'll see who these champions are. Top radio personalities, coaches, former NFL players. They know We Grow Hair Indy had the technology and results to grow their hair back. I chose We Grow Hair Indy because I wanted to get my confidence back. And every time I look in the mirror, I'm so glad I made the choice to go to We Grow Hair Indy. And you can get your confidence back. It's so simple. Head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com today. Or call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation, and you could be getting your confidence back. Be on top of your game and look like a champion. Call We Grow Hair Indy today. 317-522-2995.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Stop at Speedway and grab any size Big Gulp for just 89 cents with Speedy Rewards. Summer is calling. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
At Price Point Comfort, we promise you'll never be sold something you don't need. Call us at 317-455-1124 or see us at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
The WIBC mashup is everything you love, from fiery debates to laugh out loud takes, all in one podcast. No weak sauce. Just the best of the day each weekday. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Alan Green is filling in for Matt Bear.
Thanks, Hammer. 465 southbound to back up between 70 and 74. 465 eastbound heavy now from Westfield into 69. Southbound 465 delays between 71st and 38th. On 69 southbound, things are heavy from 106 into 82nd. 70 westbound breaks between rural Keystone and the North Split. This report brought to you by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146 and River Road, North Shadeland, or online at drexelin.com. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
70 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC. Back with Rob Kendall of the Kendall and Casey Show. #1 midday show in Indianapolis, 9 to noon here at 93 WIBC. Rob, did you and Diego watch the Indy 500 together? Did you invite him to Brothers for that Pacers game that you watched? Did you guys hang out?
Well, he was here for the 500, and then he jetted right over there to Hungary, where he was doing.
Tulsi Gabbard was here. Did anybody know Tulsi Gabbard was at the 500?
Who was she sitting with?
She came with like a lot of the veterans that were being honored on the track. She kept it low profile, but I would have liked to have seen Tulsi's caboose walking around.
Well, think about it. In a year, you've gone from looking at that Lloyd Austin guy to looking at her. What an upgrade in our military. We're back, baby.
So where's Diego Morales now?
Well,
Where in the world?
He's made it to Hungary now. And this
What's he doing?
Well, this is crazy. I mean, this guy is just a disgusting joke. So he pops up. Somebody sends this my attention to this article. It's from a Hungarian website. I believe it's a state-run media website, and it's talking about how he has ended up at a meeting with a bunch of basically what appears to be Hungarian diplomats, government officials, about agriculture and agriculture relations, and he's being described as the Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs of the state of Indiana, and he's basically saying, yeah, I'll take care of this and I'll take care of that, and people are looking at this going, you're not in charge of agriculture. That's the lieutenant governor.
I was going to say, that seems like that's the lieutenant governor's jam is agriculture.
But he just did this with India, where he goes to India, and he won't tell you who paid for that either. And he's doing economic development missions, and he, of course, has no responsibility for that. And the crazy thing about all of this, Stars tried to get info. We've tried to get info. Capitol Chronicles tried to get info. Nobody can get any info on who pays for these trips, what he does while he's over there, other than what they post publicly. But yet nobody in the State House, not Braun, not Micah, not Rokita, not the General Assembly, nobody will hold this guy accountable and find out for the taxpayers what the hell's going on.
So that's your main beef you have with Diego Morales at this point?
Well.
Like the list is long, but this is the top of it. Who is paying for all this stuff?
You have a guy going to foreign countries claiming private money, especially in the case of India. Now, they won't tell you anything right now about Hungary, but at least with India, you've got him going to a foreign country with a guy who has a large state contract with his office, paid for by us, the taxpayers. That same guy is bragging that he's selling visa access for, I believe, $800,000 in a city where the mayor, according to the Indy Star, the mayor of that city was meeting with Diego, and you can't find out who paid for it, exactly what he did there. No reasonable person thinks that's normal behavior for a state elected official to be traveling to foreign countries doing things that are not in his purview. And we are painted as some sort of bad guy for saying that seems rather untransparent, and I'd like to know who's paying and what you're doing over there.
Have you talked to your buddy Micah Beckwith, the lieutenant governor, about this? Because, again, agriculture is supposed to be his thing.
Oh, yeah. You know, he was Billy Badass on the campaign trail, and he was going to burn the whole government to the ground. Now, look, if you want to fight with a crazy person in Boone County and he can get himself on the news, he's all for that. But what could be a massive case of government corruption, which is at the very least, people look at this and go, this seems like pretty unethical behavior. And by the way, he's walking on your turf. He's cutting deals and claiming things that you're in charge of. Micah told me he don't want any part of it. No, it's fine. He can't cut any deals. No, it's fine. I'm not gonna say anything. What is going on here? Will anyone step up and try to hold this guy accountable? Can you guys ask Rokita the next time he's on with you? Can you ask Rokita? This guy will pick a fight with Notre Dame. Can he look into what some people are concerned about government corruption? Can anybody do anything about this guy?
Rob, you're the best.
Thank you. Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
It's the Hammer and Nigel
The
show.
month of May is here, so start your search engines and go to IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim your money today. You have cash waiting for you at IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Right now, the Attorney General's office is reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every single week. This isn't a boat or a car or contents of a storage locker. This is your money, your cash that's actually waiting for you. It could have been a deposit that you forgot you were supposed to get back, or a dividend from a stock. It could have been an insurance claim. There are a whole series of reasons why you have money waiting for you. Well, the Attorney General has those dollars, and you can search it up fast, easy, and free at IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Victory Lane is just one claim away at IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Search for yourself, your family, and your business this May. Text my name, Tony, to 46220 or visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov. IndianaUnclaimed.gov. Now go get your cash.
If this is the year to build your custom dream home, Joiner Homes is ready to help make your dream come true. They offer the flexibility to build on your own lot, allowing you to build a home in the place you've always envisioned. A dedicated in-house team of experts will guide you through every step, offering unmatched personalization and flexibility. Joiner Homes provides clear and upfront pricing and floor plans to inspire you. There's no time like the present to get in touch with Joiner Homes to talk about your vision and learn more about their building process. Visit joinerhomes.com.
Hey race fans, this is Tim Wicker, president of Electric Plus. When it comes to commercial electrical work, new construction, facility upgrades, or routine maintenance, our team brings the horsepower to get it done right. We deliver top quality results with the skill and speed you'd expect from a winning crew. And now, as an employee-owned ESOP company, every team member is fully invested in crossing the finish line with you. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but